I think I may be wrong, but I think you're supposed to say, that's that VTEC yo. Hey. Today I'll be driving a 2021 Honda Civic Type R. I grew curious about this car once I read that it beat both the Focus RS and STI Type RA around a track by more than a second. I would have put my money on a similarly spec'd all-wheel drive car over a front-wheel drive car any day. However, leave it to Honda to totally surprise me. This is powered by Honda's new K-Series motor, the K20C1, which is a turboed inline-4 with direct fuel injection. It offers a lot of fancy features compared to its predecessors, and it has a nice power band with 306 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. As for the style, let's face it, that's subjective. What they did is they took the normal Civic's looks, and I think they really committed to the craziness with all the flare and the fins and everything else on it. But in my opinion, it works pretty damn well.
I mainly think it works pretty damn well because most of the mania on the front is functional, and they ditched the fake vents next to the fog lights. The vents on the lower portion of the bumper help send air to the front brakes, and the hood scoop pushes hot air out of the engine bay while reducing lift. When you get to the rear, though, it's a bit of a different story. I'm not saying it's not all functional, I'm just saying it's a bit much. There's too much going on, and it confuses me, but the triple tailpipe is pretty sweet. The owner of this one opted for the carbon fiber package, and it does add some pretty nice flair. You get a fancy trim wrapped around the entire car with a nice accent color. And look at this wing. Boy, is that some pretty carbon fiber. Now, while I don't love all the visual aspects of this car, I would soon learn that looks don't matter at all, because like humans, it's what's on the inside that counts. And this Type R has a heart of gold.
So the immediate, first off, this is Will. Will is the owner of this suite. Is this called Boosted Blue? Is that the actual color name?
Yeah, that's the color.
That's a fun name. Oh. So the initial feeling, this seat is so comfortable. It's super snug without being impossible to get in and out of, and it's got a really good grip on your body. It feels super comfortable. The Alcantara and the steering wheel, it's all very inviting. The trim, the little, the red etchings and your little carbon fiber inserts on the door with the Alcantara. It's a really great step up from the stock Civic, because I always thought the biggest gripe about the Civic was these plastics used everywhere. So kind of just have a splash of this. It works really well. It doesn't feel cheap. Let's get that the motor sound on startup sound. Very quiet and subdued on idle. But I did like when you came to my house that just reverberating sound down my street. This had a really great sound to it. So we'll start off in comfort mode, just to kind of enjoy this car in its stock formation. Does this have a brake hold for? It does, right?
Right here.
Okay, I was noticing that. I'm always anticipating a rollback, and when it doesn't happen, I'm thinking I missed something.
By default, it's off. You have to turn it on every time you're in the car. It also has a hill start stop assist.
So even this comfort mode has a really good feel. I guess this is its version of economy mode.
It's more about, the softer dampening, the lighter steering feel. It's not necessarily an economy mode.
So if you give it 100% on both modes or all three modes,
it's the same, yeah.
It's going to be the same.
Either way, you have access to the full 300 horsepower. When you're on that bumpy road or something, or you just, you're coming home from work, if this is your daily driver or something like that.
I do feel like even like some slight bumps, you get a little bit more residual bounce. This is relaxing.
Yeah, this car is definitely daily drivable.
I thought it would kind of be on the edge more often. I thought you would kind of always be in go mode with it.
Yeah.
Then again, from the stock concept of it, Honda probably wants a best of both worlds, track racer, daily driver.
Yeah, definitely the original Type Rs were a bit more full race car, full send, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, well, because they have the ability with all these gizmos now to kind of make it best of both worlds.
You should not have adaptive dampers and everything.
Yeah, I would expect the clutch to throw, the overall throw to be a little bit shorter. The weight of the clutch is one thing, but I keep kind of assuming I'm at max, like I fully let it out and then I buck. So I'm expecting it just to be a little bit tighter.
Yeah. So that's one of the fixes a lot of people have been doing, along with this transmission fluid.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they will adjust because there's you can just lean under the car and you can a couple of nuts, make it a little bit shorter, a little bit longer.
And now that I've enjoyed comfort a sufficient amount, thank you for the sport mode, sir. Oh, that's nice. I actually felt the responsiveness of the gas pedal immediately once you press that button. And you were just saying it before, the notchiness of the shifter.
Yeah.
I love this for a stock short throw. it's nice to know that you can start with this and you don't have to go away from this. It feels incredible. The brakes are super responsive, which I would honestly expect. This is a light car at 3,100 pounds.
Yeah, it's 3,100. It's probably about 3,070 between the weight reduction between the newer wheels and the lighter inlet pipe and everything's about 40 pounds taken off there. Especially for a modern car, that's obscenely light.
So I'm even just going to jump this down to, oof, I really like how the whole thing turns red and the R pops up.
It adds to the drama.
It does. There's a little bit of drama in it, you know? And let's just downshift. Oh, see? Butter. Yeah. Butter. Look at this. Dude, that is delicious, man. Yeah. You put the steering wheel at one point and it does what you want it to do. This is, woo! You know what it is though? It's like two different applications. If I compare this to the Subaru, I feel like a Subaru STI, the boost comes on in a different way. The whole drive experience is different. I still am a little angry that this beat it around the track. I kind of don't want that to be the case.
Well, the next gen is supposed to be 400 horsepower. You know, that might.
And you're saying what? The next Subaru?
It's a rumor. Everybody's going to go. You know, they're going to have to come back to Honda now because
they're going to max out at 320 horsepower, and that's going to be. I don't think they're going to be hitting 400 horsepower out of the Subaru. I personally don't believe it. There's always a lot of that bullshit speculation. Yeah, that goes on
you're exactly right.
You know, so let's just hit it up. Yeah, a little bit of rev hang there, you're right.
Yep, this is on the stock tune and everything, so there's just a slight bit of rev hang. That's the easy thing on a base map that immediately gets rid of that. I mean, manufacturers are incorporating that because of emissions. Apparently keeping the revs there just a little bit longer helps with emissions. That's my understanding of it.
Really?
That's the justification. I don't know if it's just lazy ECU.
It screws up the whole drive. I mean, it makes me think I constantly did something wrong when I'm shifting. I think the only thing I start thinking about when as I'm driving this is that, does it look silly from the outside? Is it too explosive visually? I kind of want to not like this car just because it does. Well, okay.
Not to say that word, you know, but
no, yeah.
In case anybody,
we all know you're not talking about a mentally challenged human being, but rather a designer who got a little too excited. So that's the only thing about like the stock Civic. It looked cool when it was introduced, and then like over time I was like, that's a lot of plastic pieces. So then I started calling it the plastic bits car. So to see that this then added more plastic bits kind of made me laugh at it. You know, it's like way too wild. But that's also kind of the intriguing part about the look of it, because it's so loud and there's just so much flair to it. I just don't know how it'll hold up in 10 or 15 years. Like if you look at a Type R now, like when you see that yellow typical Type R Integra with that giant wing on the back, and then you see it selling for $80,000, do you see this in 30 years selling for $80,000 if it had low mileage? Like, I don't know.
I don't. It depends, I think, on where the automotive industry goes, because I think the real staying power of this car is going to be the way it feels when you drive it.
Yeah.
For a modern car, this has a relatively old school feel to it in terms of the way, like, you know, the gear shifter is rewarding, the steering, you got some feeling to it. It's fun to rev out the engine. Definitely the looks would be the weak point of it. I think if this car is popular in 10, 15 years, it's because everything has gone really numb.
Honestly though, after driving that Mini with the K swap recently, and then this K and a couple of different K motors, you can definitely consider me a fanboy. I get it. I totally get it. The way it makes the power, it has such a usable power band on this car. The way the suspension feels, the way the steering feels, so on point.
It's funny how the steering in this, which is, I don't know how long Honda's been doing a electronic rack exactly, probably for longer, but a performance rack, they haven't been doing it too long, and it's funny how this is pretty universally praised. But
so if this parking lot's dead, usually there's a little spot I zigzag around. This is and I did this.
This is like a little autocross.
This is my little autocross track. Oh, really?
There you go. Yes, first and second, it's very, very easy to get it to spin the tires and get traction control to light up.
So not too crazy, but okay. So this, yeah. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll hightail it out of here. Wow. Wow.
While I didn't get to beat on this car like I rented it from Enterprise, the short and small bits I enjoyed made it clear that this Type R is an overall great performer. The power comes on strong and the brakes bite so hard, with the only downside being the stock clutch travel and rev hang between shifts. In other words, you should be jealous of the guy driving the car, even if you think said person looks silly in it. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I'm horrendous with posting videos regularly, and I have a baby on the way, so it won't get any better. But if you liked what you watched and want to see more, I promise nothing but totally subscribe. Stay funky and stay fresh, people.
You know what I just noticed right now, as a matter of fact, I didn't mean to wear, I just kind of wore this blue shirt because the car was blue, and then you're wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
And you have blue eyes. You're very set up for this automobile.
I made